What is good, YouTube? I am. I got some things on my mind today, and I want to talk about. I've been trying to figure out like how to gather my thoughts, but basically, I'm just gonna put it out there and give it to you raw because that's pretty much how it's given anyway. So why not give it back raw and just let you know how I feel? Um, we're doing a topic on the Butch Femme discussion this week about domestic abuse, which in a relationship, and dealing with emotional and verbal abuse as a constant in your relationship. I think that for the most part, people who are the abusers, especially when it's a relationship that's only dealing with emotional and verbal abuse, you're going to be dealing with abusers who don't think that they are doing anything wrong whatsoever. They feel that the fact that they're not being physically violent gives them a lot of leeway to go ahead and then become emotionally and verbally violent, because that is another method of them exercising their power and their control over the relationship, over you in the relationship. And it is not found just within the confines of, the abuser giving it to the victim. It's found within the confines of, there are people who are dealing with that, who committed suicide. There are children whose whole lives have been negatively affected because of the amount of verbal and emotional abuse they would stand their entire childhood from their parents. These people grow up to then either emotionally abuse others, or they become further victims of the emotional abuse. They tend to attract people that display the qualities of an abuser, and they find themselves in a situation where they're experiencing double jeopardy all over again. And a lot of these people experience it for the bulk of their relationships because that's all they know. So emotional abuse is just such a vicious cycle. It's vicious, and it impacts more people, I believe, than just purely physical abuse. Obviously, they do go hand in hand, but I think emotional abuse is just so destructive. It is so destructive. It is damaging. It is it has such a horrible impact on a person's life. I mean, they can find themselves in a situation where they feel that they are completely worthless and that they do not deserve to be loved. They do not deserve to be appreciated. They do not deserve to, just experience the normalcy in life. Family, people around you that support you, family members that can lift you up when you're going through it in your relationship or just your regular life. All of these things are missing because for the most part, abuse, as we all know, is not something that is discussed very often. It is a silent killer, and that's on the down low. Another one of those things. And it's such on the down low that when we are able to talk about abuse in a setting where there's multiple people, I've been noticing that a lot of people they have such warped views and opinions when it comes to abuse, that the abuser either deserved it somehow for having a flipped mouth, or they deserved it somehow because they weren't doing what they were told to do, or they deserved it because there's no way their abuser could be this person, this monster you're making them out to be, because they've never put their hands on you, or because they're taking care of you and they care for your well-being. And it's like there's this totally other story going on at home, and the people that are being subjected to this have no way out. They have no recourse. They have no one that they can turn to, because the abuser puts on this front that is just, it's a pretty damn good front, And people who are abusive, it pisses me off. I have a zero tolerance abuse. I think even more telling that an abuser who starts off with the emotional and the verbal abuse, which eventually escalates to the physical abuse, I feel that this person has to be dead set in their mind on feeling that you deserve to be abused, that you are these things that they are saying. So they're not saying these things in one instance and then turning around and being nice and giving you gifts in another instance, because they really don't think that you are these things. This is what they truly believe in their mind and their heart, and that ability to turn on the charm and be sweet and give gifts and apologize and say you're sorry after the abuse has occurred. That shit is not enough. It's something that should not ever be accepted on the level where you're accepting these gifts, or you're accepting these apologies when this stuff happens, because it gives them that much courage to move on to the next form of abuse, the next instance that is going to be occurring. It can escalate the next time and be even worse, manifest itself relating from their childhood or things that they've experienced in their past or their adulthood, that leads them to believe that this is okay, that there's nothing wrong with what they're doing, that it's just a part of being in a relationship with someone. And that's some serious shit. When someone starts to believe that a negative behavior such as that is not a big deal, then what's next? At that point, a woman needs to get out of the relationship right away, and most don't, because they don't understand or realize, how much trouble that they're really in. Serious stuff. One of the things that people need to take note of is the fact that mental and verbal abuse is always a precursor to physical abuse. Control is garnered through beating you down mentally over and over and over again, telling you that you're nothing, you'll never amount to anything, you will never find anyone as good as them, you will never go far in life because you're stupid, you're fat, you're ugly, you're this, you're that. It's all the beginning stages of abuse, and eventually it will escalate, if not already coupled with physical abuse, physical violence. Eventually that's where it's going to be. So if you're in the position to get out of the relationship, when you first take note of those kind of verbal attacks being directed towards you, you need to act now and get out of the relationship. If you know a friend or a family member or a loved one that is, says negative things to their partner or their children or people that they know in their lives, I think it's our duty as a friend, as a family member, as a caring human being to say something to them. We must understand that what we have to say might not be received positively, and odds are it won't be, but it's still our duty, it's still our responsibility to at least say that we see something going on. We see that there's some verbal or some emotional abuse going on between the two parties. We're aware of it. We might just want to let our friend, our family member, or our loved one know that, it's not cool with us, what we're saying. We really hope or wish that they could get some help for this, because it could turn into something very much more ugly later on. And I don't see anything at all wrong with saying that. Even being brave enough to deal with any kind of backlash that may result amongst you and your relationship with that individual, be it the victim or the abuser. Because victims, they need help even more so. Basically, more women would be free of abusive relationships if only they knew that they were in an abusive relationship.
Snow can wait, I forgot my mittens. Wipe my nose, get my new boots on. I get a little warm in my heart.